this lesson, we're going to cover how to move from being an employee to being self-employed. Now, the first thing we got to do when moving from an employee to self-employment is to look at ourselves and think about ourselves differently. Now, as an employee, we're always thinking about this paycheck. We're always thinking about, that next month's worth of income. We're always thinking about trading time for money. No matter how hard we work, we're still going to make that hourly wage or that salary. So really, being an employee is this mindset of, it doesn't matter what I do, how important the stuff I work on is. It doesn't matter. None of this stuff matters, kind of how motivated I am. This stuff doesn't matter because I'm getting paid the same anyways. That's an employee mindset. And you're always thinking about money, trading your time for money. And you're thinking about, how if you go to work today, you're going to make a certain amount of dollars. Now, it's important to change your mindset when you're becoming self-employed, when you're moving away from a job and making an independent living. You're going to be wanting to think more long-term, like an owner. An owner thinks long-term. If you own a business, you're thinking about the next 5 years. You're thinking about the next 10 years. You're not just thinking about this month or this next paycheck. You're thinking about how do you build an asset? How do you build a business that's going to be worth something in 5 years? How do you build something long-term that's going to enable you to continue to make cash flow every single month with or without working? And the way that you do that is you always use your time in the best way. So it's important that you work on valuable things because of the long-term strategic way of thinking here. It's important to work on important things, important for your long-term. It's not important to just trade your time for money. To make that money this month isn't as important as your long-term thinking is. So the main point here is it's crucial that you start thinking like an owner instead of an employee. All right, so the next point is money. It's important to start thinking about money as buying you time and opportunities instead of things. So as an owner, you're going to want to hold on to more cash. You're going to want to be able to take advantage of opportunities. You're going to want to use your time wisely. You're going to want to use your time on things that might not be profitable. And in order to do that, you've got to be out of this trading time for money kind of mindset. You've got to be thinking long term. You've got to be thinking about saving money for the reason of using your savings to work on long-term projects. So you don't have to be always worried about this next month's income. The important point here is to start looking at money as buying you time and opportunities instead of things. All right, so the third and final point here of this lesson is we're going to talk about building assets, building long-term assets and cash flow. So really an asset is something that generates cash flow, something that puts money in your pocket. And as you build your business, you want it to be an asset for you. You want your business to bring in cash flow, generate income for you in the future. So that's what you really want to work on. You want to work on turning your business into a cash flow machine long term. Now, if you're just trading your time for money, that's not an asset. That's actually that's a liability because you're out there having to work every day. Your main goal is to generate passive income instead of active income. And we're going to talk about that in the future in a lesson coming up here. But the important point here is to start thinking about how to build assets that will generate cash flow for you in the future. All right, so what do you think? Do you have experience, wisdom on this area? Do you have questions on how to do this, how to move from being an employee and having the employee mindset to being an owner and having the owner mindset? Do you have questions about that? I'll be there to answer your questions, or if you have experience and wisdom here, I'd love for you to share that with other students. That being said, I will see you over in the next